You're watching Talking About Orks.
Hey everybody, in this episode Talking About Orcs, we'll be going over allies. Allies are really interesting in 6th edition, and really interesting for the orcs. First of all, let's go over the ally rules a little bit here, just so we know what we're talking about. There's 3 levels of allies. I've been kind of studying on what would probably be usable in... Okay, so here's the famous ally chart. 3 levels of allies are Battle Brothers, for 4 levels, sorry. Battle Brothers, Allies of Convenience, Desperate Allies, and Come the Apocalypse, which is no allies. The races that the orcs cannot ally with at all are Black Templars, Blood Angels, Sisters of Battle, and of course Tyranids, which nobody can ally with. So, where's that leave? And also, orcs have no Battle Brothers. Battle Brothers give you, basically, they're treated as friendly models for almost all things. So ICs can join Battle Brother units, and powers and abilities can convey to allied units. Unfortunately, orcs don't have any Battle Brothers, which kind of sucks. I figured maybe Dark Eldar would be a Battle Brother or something really cool, but no such luck. So that gives us just Allies of Convenience and Desperate Allies. So I'm going to start with the Allies of Convenience. Allies of Convenience basically are treated like enemy models for all effect purposes. So it means the custom force field won't work on allied models, stuff like that. Can't join ICs to your units or vice versa. So they kind of act independently, basically. But there's no penalties for taking Allies of Convenience. So there are 4 Allies of Convenience for orcs. We have, first is the Chaos Space Marines, IG, Necrons, and Tau. So what can we do with allies? Well, I think the first step, if you're going to make allies, is you want to use the allies to kind of fill a gap in your army, in your codex. And so that's what we're going to be approaching this kind of from today. There's always, there's just things you can simply take for fun or convenience. Say, I have a Tau army, so that's why I'm taking Tau allies, because I just happen to have Tau. I really wish I could Blood Angels, but unfortunately there are no, I can't ally with Blood Angels. If you're going to take allies, you need to take, the easiest thing to do is to take something that fills a gap in your codex. For orcs, there are 3 main gaps, I think, that can be filled effectively with allies. First, of course, is psychic defense. We lack any, and psychic powers are huge in 6th edition, so getting any form of psychic defense is going to help a lot. The second spot is some really reliable, high-powered, long-range shooting. Yeah, looters are great, but they're still only strength 7. They're not good against Land Raiders, and of course Bastions. Bastions you're going to see a lot, so having something that can take out a Bastion at range isn't a bad idea at all. And I should know, because last game my broadsides blew up a Bastion and killed a unit of Retributors inside. It was awesome. And the third thing is, well, at least for the most part, is we got lots of fast units, but we don't have any fast units that are really survivable. Some way to get that line breaker point, that line breaker victory point, and sit over there and take whatever comes at them. So we don't have any real tough units that can get to the enemy's deployment zone and then stick out a turn or two without getting just completely wiped out. While we have units that can get there, we do have fast units. The fast units aren't that resilient. So I think those are 3 main spots that allies can really help with the orc army. So we have Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines provide a little bit of that. For the HQ, to me, there's really only one option, and that's a Lash Prince. A Lash Prince with orcs could give you a lot of flexibility, which we just don't have. Gives us a lot more control over the battlefield, especially if you're running Knob Bikers. You can kind of reposition things so you can get those precision shots where you need them on characters or HQs or special weapons, or just simply keep something away from the boys for another turn so we can shoot them again. or bring them closer that you want to assault. Lash is a very, very powerful tool. Unfortunately, the Chaos Space Marine Codex isn't a great supplement to the lash power. I mean, there's a couple cool tricks, but I think with orcs, and especially with the ability to demech out of transports really easily, rhinos, razorbacks, chimeras, combining that with lash could be a very big asset. In fact, not to mention the plastic Demon Prince model is just fantastic. For troops, I think there's really only one viable option, and that's going to be Plague Marines, because they are just that freaking good. 7 Plague Marines with 2 plasma guns is 191 points. Oh, a Lash Prince, I should say, with wings is 155. So then you got 7 Plague Marines with 2 plasmas is 191. So you're talking, not quite 350 points for a detachment. It was really, really helpful. There are some definitely other options in the Chaos Space Marine book to consider. Just regular Chaos Space Marines, 10 regular Chaos Space Marines with just 2 plasma guns is 180. Not a bad unit to sit on an objective in the back and just kind of shoot out at 24 inches. Or even use them as a sacrificial screen with a 3+ armor save. Something. They're not a bad unit. Land Raider for the Plague Marines is 220 with no upgrades. Again, not a bad option. Put a Land Raider in the Orc Army. You know you want to. Obliterators. Obliterators are definitely going to be part of that. I could give you 2 different ways to play them, or actually the same way. You can drop them in the opponent's zone for that, try and get that line breaker. And they're resilient, and they have a lot of shooting once they get there, so they can drop down, deep strike in behind the opponent, and really cause a disruption, which we have lost, really, in my opinion, really lost with the loss of assaulting out of reserves with Snickrot. And that Blitz gives you that option which Snickrot used to perform. And same goes for the Chaos Terminators. They can do the same thing. They can deep strike into your opponent's deployment zone with combi plasmas and a heavy flamer or an autocannon and really cause a lot of havoc back there while the Knob Bikers and while the boys are marching up. So there's a lot of good things you can do there with the Chaos Space Marines. And I think they complement really well what the Orcs do. Because basically the Orcs provide that the transport, the medium strength fire, the strength 7 in Ludas, provides a Death Star, which the Chaos Space Marines really can't do in the Knob Bikers, and a lot of resiliency in just 30 boy mobs. All of which Chaos Space Marines are really kind of lacking. So the next one is very interesting, is Necrons are an allies of convenience. It took me a while to go through there and find something that really helps, to be honest. Necrons are a very interesting army compared to Orcs. Of course, they're also Initiative 2, which is kind of army-wide Initiative 2 would be kind of funny. But anyway, for an HQ in the Necrons, I think the easiest thing to do would be take a douche canoe. Just an Overlord with the War Sky in a Catacomb Command Barge, and just do your flyovers. Just standard Command Barge tactics, or cheese, whichever you want to go. For troops, I would probably avoid the Warriors, because they're not going to be any much better than boys. So I'd probably go with the Immortals, try and get that Tesla action going on, try and get those extra hits. I think the 10 Immortals for 170 would probably be the best troop option if you're going to take Necrons. Now we go into the heavy support and fast attack. Okay, Wraiths provide a very interesting fast attack choice for complement the Orcs. Because face it, the Orc fast attack choices really aren't that good, and definitely are not resilient. So you can't get them over to the opponent's deployment zone. They can get there, but they're not going to last very long. They're not going to be there for that line breaker. They're not going to contest the objective, or even take an objective. Because don't forget, fast attack is a scoring unit in one of the missions. So having that unit of Wraiths as a scoring unit for 1/6 of the time is going to be amazing. Plus they're fearless. They got the 3+ invul save, so they can sit there and tar pit some stuff while you kind of thin things out and remaneuver into a counter assault position, which definitely not something to discount. So I think Wraiths would be an excellent little complement for the Orc army. Now the other couple options, say if you want to run an all-foot slogging army, just 150 boys, you want to get shot up, why not take a Stormlord? Give yourself night fighting protection. Get the KFF with night fighting, get that +1 and +2 cover save from night fighting as you run across the board. That could be kind of cool. Getting a 3+ cover save for 150 boys as you run across the board. So Stormlord may not be a bad idea if that's the way you're going to play your army. That's definitely not the best option if you're playing shitty orcs like I play, but if you're going to play an all-out assault foot slogging army, getting that night fighting for 2 or 3 turns would be kind of cool. Doom Scythe flyers are really good in 6th edition, especially right now. So you can complement your Daka Jets with a Doom Scythe. 4 flyers, I mean, that's awesome. Especially Doom Scythe with the Death Ray is a really good option. So Necrons bring a lot of interesting things to the table. And I'm sure there's a lot more things, especially with Necrons, that we could do. That I haven't even thought of yet. So, but you know, there's a lot of also duplicate things in the Necron Codex, which we really don't need. We don't need the jet bikes. We don't need warriors. Really aren't. I'd still rather have shooter boys than warriors. That's why I go with the Immortals and the Tesla instead of warriors, because we don't really need the Goss for taking out light vehicles because we got Ludas. But you know, I still think the Immortals are probably a better choice. So I'm going to cut this part here. I got 2 more allies of convenience to talk about, so I'm going to cut this video short here and make another part. Thanks for watching.